afternoon, BX Live at Lunch Friends. It's me, Jason, with my boy Zach and my boy Thomas, and three dudes kicking it, just talking a little bit about fitness. We're going to talk today about liquid nutrition. What is liquid nutrition? Of course you know what liquid nutrition is. Everybody and their mother is trying to sell you the next step in the multi-level marketing process. Next shake, next shake.
Next 3 meals to fit.
The next 3 meals to fit. The next, what's the detox product? You know, the question is, how important is liquid nutrition? Does it matter? Will it make a difference? What is it? How does it affect your body? That's what we're going to start off with. But the biggest thing we want to start off with, one of the things we want you to understand when you leave here today is understand that liquid nutrition, shakes, smoothies, detox teas, any of that stuff, they're all supplemental. Nothing really beats having real food.
For those of you that haven't watched us before, supplemental as in you supplement it to your normal diet.
Right. That means eat food, then have this. Like, it adds to your current process. It does not take away. It adds to. It does not necessarily always replace. It has its purpose and its benefits. And we're going to talk about the benefits and the cons of liquid nutrition. So,
starting out with the negative.
The negative.
A study showed that if you're trying to lose weight, it's probably not going to be the best bet, just because within 60 minutes of eating, they looked at, in this study, people that ate solid food and people that drank liquid nutrition, and same sort of calorie model and everything like that. And after 15 minutes of eating, they were both full, both groups were full, but looking at 60 minutes and out from there, the group that ate solid food was actually feeling more full at every point.
Oh, nice. That's very helpful. And one of the reasons behind that is with the liquid nutrition, you're taking in food and skipping the chewing part. So the body's really cool because it's designed in a way where it all supposed to function together. So when you chew food, it triggers your body to tell your stomach when to be full. And then it also triggers the muscles. So when you start to chew and you chew at an ample amount of chews, the body says, okay, this is about to be enough food. I'm hungry. I need to take in these nutrients. I need to prepare myself to do this. When you're drinking the nutrients, it kind of skips that part. And then the body's kind of left up to this rush panic trying to get everything in. It doesn't always absorb everything you need. And the body can only absorb so much in a fast period of time.
Right. So, and those liquid calories are actually going to take less time to consume too, which is less time for your body to process that you're feeling full, which means that you're probably going to end up drinking more than you should calorie-wise.
Right.
There was also a study that showed that 19% fewer total calories at subsequent meals were consumed by people that chewed their food. So actually having solid food and starting that mechanical process of breakdown led to less food consumed in the long run.
And as we continue to go, you'll probably hear us say this, but we are really big advocates for chewing and eating food. Right? Make sure you eat, make sure you put the food in your mouth, chew it up. There's a reason it's there, there's a reason you chew. Good. You had something to say?
What I was just going to say to go along with Zach was the biggest problem that you'll find no matter what liquid nutrition you take is the calorie count. The general rule of thumb is they're good and, like how we said, supplemental. You don't want to take an entire meal replacement shake. Isn't going to do what eating does for you in the long term. It might be good to get a really, really high amount of calories and nutrition, but your body, like we said, only uses so much. So in the long term, you're gonna produce more waste from that amount of liquid nutrition that you're using instead of actually actively your body using it and using it to help you out with day-to-day life.
Right, and there's guys out there that'll go out and get like a 1,500 calorie gainer shake and just have that as like a meal replacement after their workout, and it just sits so heavy on your stomach, and you're not going to get all of the nutrients that you need out of that.
speaking of studies, there are studies that show that the more that you chew the food, the better your body will absorb the nutrients that go with it. As we said, over time, because it's not just dumped into your stomach, it's over time. So and we're going to go over the pros too. We've really gone over some of the cons. Another one, like he said before, another one of the cons is the speed at which you drink your shake versus the time in which it takes you to chew your food, which is one of the pros too. Like saving time for nutrients is one of the things we're going to get into with the pros. But at the same time, it's also a con in the fact that nutrition doesn't particularly it's not as efficient as if you were to chew your food and take your time to actually eat and absorb it. Then feeling hungrier later in life or later in the day. Now, I have heard people say, well, I'm not hungry after my shakes. Chances are there's also like some form of hunger suppressant within that shake. You may not realize it, and it might not be directly called a hunger suppressant, but there's something in there to help you feel fuller, and it may not be the extra nutrients.
And even if you're not full right off the bat, like 15 minutes, like that study showed, 15 minutes after eating, it's not going to take it's going to take longer than 15 minutes for that liquid to get out of your stomach and be fully processed and absorbed. So you're going to feel full like right after. It's the amount of time that you're feeling full after. So like with solid food, you're going to feel more full for longer because it's more complex. It's tougher for the stomach to break down. It takes more time for the stomach to break down and process.
Another one of the things that happens with liquid nutrition is the actual nutrition facts that you get. How many of you actually, by show of hands out there watching, put extra fruit into your smoothie, or put extra vegetables into your smoothie, or put something extra and add to that calorie count? Well, what's crazy is when you put all that extra fruit into your smoothie, many of most individuals probably put more sugar into their smoothie. So while natural sugar still might be good, if you have an excess amount of natural sugar, it still does the same thing to your blood sugar as a candy bar would. Right? So you're still spiking your blood sugar, engaging your blood sugar in that pattern of up-down that you don't want to have. You want to have a leveled, smooth-looking wave within your blood sugar pattern throughout the day.
The general rule of thumb that I found and seen with the liquid nutrition shakes and smoothies is if they actually have, like if you look at the ingredients and you look at the nutrition facts, you should have real fruit and some kind of protein in there for the first 3 or 4 ingredients. And then you'll get into the extra added sugars that aren't just the natural sugars. If you see right off the bat some kind of additive sugar, then either one, you're going to be able to have a better food or better drink that you can get instead of that one, or it's going to be where that's just not what you need to be having because it's massive amounts of sugar compared to what you actually need at that, not only for one meal, but for the daily value as well.
Now, with all that being said, there's obviously some pros too. I think all the cons kind of lead to the same conclusion of don't replace your diet with liquid nutrition.
Right.
Not a good idea. It's best used as a supplement. But some of the pros, like we already said, are going to be that it's super quick and easy. You can grab a shake and head out the door and drink it within 5 to 10 minutes, right. And there's no prep time in that.
So yes, it is better than you skipping a meal. So if you're in that, and that would essentially deem it a supplement because you're in a scenario in which sitting down to eat a proper meal is probably not going to be the most efficient, I guess, part of your day. I'm not saying it shouldn't be something that you try to get to do, but it's not going to work that part of time of your day. So it's like, all right, I need something quick. I recognize that nutrition is important and I got to make sure that I'm actually eating or getting something in my body so I can have fuel for my day or whatever the next activity is. So yes, having a shake around to turn it up is actually very beneficial then. So it saves time. And there are proper nutrients in a shake.
The other thing too is it can be cost efficient if you're looking at protein bars versus protein powder. Protein powder per scoop is going to be way cheaper than bars. And it's super easy to just grab, add some water to it, shake it up, and take it after your workout or throughout your day.
So it saves time, it can be cost efficient, and then it's flavorful, right? You can't deny the fact that sometimes food is fun and food has experience with it. So you can have some flavor to your vegetables and fruit, or you can maybe you don't get vegetables enough, right? And that's something you're working on. So back to this being a supplement, if you need to start by adding vegetables to a little bit of fruit to make sure you're getting them in. Now the issue comes there is that we want to eventually be able to eat vegetables as a whole. But if you're completely missing them, it's good to just throw them in there to get those nutrients that you aren't getting on a normal basis.
Right,
So,
and you can add veggies, you can add fruit. It can also be a good way to add a little bit more protein into your diet.
Mhm.
If you're looking to add a little bit more weight, I know that's kind of on the opposite end of spectrum that people like to look at, but if you're looking to bulk up a little bit, it can add those few calories while you're trying to adjust to that calorie level, and get you adjusted and get your calories up in the long run.
Yeah, so if you're on that side of trying to put weight on or trying to increase mass and become a denser, more lean muscle in that process, adding a shake to your meal is also something you can really do to help benefit that process. And then with the losing weight, how does it help with losing weight? It really allows you to cut down calories. And that's where the problem is, what happens after you've gotten to your point. You don't necessarily need to stick with a shake as a meal replacement. You need to have a shake to help supplement meals you may be getting or to help supplement nutrients you're not getting because you may have reduced calories to actually cut your weight or to lose the weight itself.
And you can do it where if you have a shake or some kind of like smoothie, if you can have it as like a snack, as long as it's a lower amount of calories, you don't want to have. If you buy like a meal replacement shake or smoothie, you can have half of it for a snack, but then you still need to get actual complex calories from real food at the same time. So it's that same going back to where you're kind of mixing it in. It's not you just only need to drink liquid nutrition or you only need to eat. It's a good balance between the two of, hey, if you have, what I have an example is like in the mornings, if you're running out of the house, it's better to have a shake or something early but still have a snack right after at some point in the morning. Or vice versa, where if you have a breakfast one day, you don't need to have the shake, but you can do it like the next day if you don't have time to prep like multiple days in a row or things like that.
I would compare it to just with all we've said about and not understating the value of taking your fork and chewing your food and how that's going to help get you less calories in the long run because it's more involvement than just taking a bottle and drinking it. It's just like any other supplement, like pre-workout. If you don't need it and you can function without it, then you don't really need to
Add to it, right?
Yep.
I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. So let's say we talked a little bit about the fruit smoothies and adding stuff into it, but he also mentioned getting protein in. One of the things with protein shakes, if you're have a protein shake and you can actually have a piece of fruit to go with it to kind of chew it, that kind of helps encompass a little bit more of that total nutrition you're going to get. So that's a little bit of a tip. If you have a protein shake, then eat it with a piece of fruit. And if you just have a fruit smoothie with no protein, maybe find a scoop of protein or eat a protein bar to go with that. So that way the nutrition is more encompassed as a meal than just, and you actually get that chewing factor in there.
The other thing too, I think I've seen Allie do it. I don't know how she does it. I've never done it, but she makes she adds less water to it and makes it like chewable, so it's less of a shake and more of a food with protein powder.
Yeah, kind of like a pudding. Yeah, that makes sense. That's pretty cool. Or a yogurt consistency. Yep.
And then I just had a thought of when we talked about a couple weeks ago with when you have trouble eating and like say you're watching TV and you're just munching nonstop because you're not paying attention to what you're eating.
Right.
It's very similar to just drinking something super heavy really quickly where you're not thinking about it. It's to take your mind off of. So it's kind of opposite of where when you're watching TV, you're eating a lot over time. But with this one, it's in a quick amount of time. So it's the same thing where you want to be able to balance it out and have that ability to think through what you're doing. And that way you know this is what I'm putting in, this is what I need, and not overdoing it.
And if you're speeding through 1,200 calories drinking, you're in for some stomach pain in about 5 to 10 minutes.
That's true. That's true. It's going to be a knot just sitting right there. Now, so as we come to a close, let's really kind of dial down some of the things we've said. we really want you to understand that liquid nutrition is not a no-no. Kids, it's not a no-no. Liquid nutrition isn't necessarily frowned upon, but we, as a collective, prefer that it be used as a supplement to your already, the meal plan and nutrition that you're eating, chewing.
That's probably not the cool answer you were looking for.
No. Sorry, guys.
That's in line with consistency and gradual changes.
Systems and things. Yeah, people don't like those. All right, so, but they're useful. Shakes have their usage. So we had some of the benefits, which were, go ahead, each of you want to spit one of the benefits out of the shake.
Cost efficient, and it can be a time saver.
Absolutely.
And it allows you to have a quick snack or something like that, where as long as you have other food with it, it's good to have it as a supplement, as we've said.
Absolutely. And a couple of the cons, just to be careful about using the liquid to fully take over your meals, because, well, it doesn't necessarily keep you satisfied as long. You may end up hungrier later down the road. And then one of the other cons is there may be some higher sugar level in it based on the added fruit or whatever the extra additive is to help keep it stored longer. And that's just a couple. So if you have any questions about supplements or your nutrition, please see us in the gym, send us an email, or hit us up down below
In the comments.
We thank you guys for watching this week's episode of BX Live at Lunch on Liquid Nutrition. We will see you guys next week.
See y'all later.
See ya.